baseball has started to publish some of its rules for the season that is due to begin late next month. They're going to test players every other day, saliva tests every other day, temperature checks twice per day, and a lot of things that will look very different than what we're used to seeing from baseball. No spitting, which automatically will be very different than what we're used to seeing in baseball.
That'll be hard.
Pitchers can't lick their
that's
fingers.
Gonna be like, whoa, that's going to be hard.
Yeah. No, you can't go to the umpire to argue. No fighting. Fighting will be strictly dealt with. That's the difference between baseball and football. A lot of the things that would make baseball kind of look like football, you're not going to be allowed to do. You can't, no high fives, no fist bumps, none of that stuff. Everybody's going to be in their own little cocoon walking around the field. You bring your own equipment. I mean, it's just things that aren't going to be practical in football, but it shows you the extreme measures that need to be taken to minimize the spread of the virus. And it doesn't make me more optimistic that it's going to work for football, because ultimately you got to get 22 guys out on a football field playing football, which means being in close contact. And the league is betting on its assessment being accurate, Chris, that outdoors, open spaces will result in fewer infections. And if they can keep anyone off the field who may be infected, that's going to keep it at a minimum as well. But we'll just see. They got to do everything they can to minimize the potential for an outbreak, and then they got to be ready to pivot and activate a plan if there is an outbreak. And those are two, I think, Herculean tasks.
I just wonder if the NFL is going to try to implement some of these rules too. Like, are they going to tell quarterbacks they can't lick their hands this year? Right away, I think of like the great Drew Brees, right? I mean, after every throw, it's lick, pull his shoulder pads down. That would be a game changer for some quarterbacks. That's part of their tick or what, their process between plays. And a lot of guys really want to lick their fingers, just like baseball pitchers, because, it gives you a little moisture on what can be a slick leather ball at times to make the grip better. So I'd be curious to know if the NFL, I don't see why that would matter in football. When the play before, maybe Von Miller hits Drew Brees from behind and is breathing and sweating on him, to where I want to go, who cares if he licked the football at this point? The guy just bled on his face or whatever. But yeah, I'll be interested to see if that happens. And the other thing, Mike, just real quick, that out of all the college athletes and the players so far, and I'm not trying to be insensitive, have you heard of one that's had to really deal with the COVID-19 in a horrible way?
Yeah, I have. I have.
Okay.
Tony Baselli's son got extremely sick from it. Andrew Baselli, who's an offensive lineman at Florida State. The bigger they are, you've got guys who are heavy. Just don't assume. And we hear, you got a greater chance of dying in a car on the way to school. Well, okay, fine, but this is still an extra chance of dying that you otherwise wouldn't have. And tell that to the family of the one kid who does die because of this. So anyway, an easy situation. Let's hope that the people at the NFL are paying the proper attention to this.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.